Hello people, Sigtoid here. I was originally going to do another top 10 list of weird but somewhat functional characters, and I had some builds lined up for it. However, I realized at some point that there's too much stuff for me to talk about with some of these builds that I could never properly condense all the information into just a top 10 video. So what I'll be doing instead is I'll be starting a video series. I'm gonna call it The Builds You Don't Play. First build I'll be looking at is the Blade Assassin. Hope you enjoy. I think there are two ways you can take this character. You can go heavy on elemental damage, maxing out lightning traps and using Infinity Mercenary. Basically it's just like playing a regular trap scene at that point, but instead of Fire Blast you'll be tossing shurikens. That sounded a little bit boring to me. See, if I'm going for a build like this, I wanna score some goddamn style points. So I opted to go for a full-on physical damage route, using Blade Sentinel and Reaper's Toll Mercenary. If I'm being completely honest, Blade Sentinel is a bad skill. When you look at some of the design choices around it, it's a miracle that I even got it to function at all on this character. Before we move on to the build, some notes on Blade Fury itself. First of all, don't trust the damage numbers on your character screen. D2 tooltips are notoriously buggy, and this character might be the worst example of it I've encountered so far. Don't be alarmed by the low numbers here, they don't display your actual damage correctly. In fact, they aren't even close. Blade Fury is reliant on your weapon damage, so we want a weapon with good damage on it. Any kind of plus damage modifiers don't actually work at all, so that means that Grief is out. Two-handed weapons suffer a damage penalty, so they are also a no-go. IAS doesn't matter for Blade Fury itself, it'll always churn out the shurikens at the exact same speed, but I still wanted some IAS to cap up my trap laying speed. Deadly Strike and Crushing Blow work as they normally would for a ranged attack. Crushing Blow ain't as hard as it is for melee attacks of course, but I still wanted to go as high on those two mods as I possibly could, since they will be a big damage increase for the character. Now Blade Fury doesn't automatically hit, so attack rating will be an issue, especially considering that Blade Fury doesn't offer any kind of attack rating boost like most of the skills in this game do. We have Death Etching Axe for Deadly Strike, Crushing Blow and some big ass damage. G-Phase for the Helm. Fortitude Body Armor, no Enigma this time. High Lords for more Deadly Strike, and the IAS is relevant for capping out our trap laying speed. Laying of Hands, the industry standard. The Raven Frost Ring. 10 FCR ring with some life leech. The only reason the FCR is relevant is because of Mind Blast. You can take it or leave it on the ring honestly, just the FCR from Fortitude is fine too. If you want to maximize your blades' physical damage, a shield like this one will be your best bet. Phoenix is a better option on paper, but I promise you that Firestorm proc will drive you nuts. We have CTA and Spirit Shield on swap. Since attack rating is a factor for the blade skills, I went with two pieces of the Sarus set. The boots and the belt are actually pretty good if you don't mind the loss of one potion row. The set bonus pretty much doubles this character's attack rating. Inventory is mostly trap skillers. We have Torch and Annie in here, and the small charms all have attack rating on them. For the final part of the attack rating puzzle, I think you have two reasonable options. First option is that you get yourself a Blessed Aim Mercenary and never worry about this thing again. If you are planning to put in some serious hours on this character, I recommend that option. I chose not to do that because I wanted to keep the Might Aura on the Mercenary for maximum damage. So what I do for attack rating boost is I buff up with a Demon Limb before every run. The enchant buff lasts for a long time, so it's not as tedious as you might think. Our mercenary is using the Reaper's Toll, Treachery and Kira's Guardian setup. For stats I got enough vitality to reach 2500 life, that's a life total I felt safe with. Everything else I put into strength to increase my damage even more. The skill build is 20 points in the Blade Fury and 20 points in the Blade Sentinel. 20 points into Death Sentry and 20 into Lightning Sentry as a synergy. I have 6 hard points into Fire Blast to have some extra charges on Death Sentry. I also put a few extra points into Blade Shield to have a little bit more duration on it. I put 4 points into Martial Arts skill tree so I can use Dragon Flight to reposition my Mercenary. If you are going with Enigma, this of course won't be necessary for you. In Shadow Disciplines I have 1 point into all of these. Venom does almost nothing for Blade Assassin, so feel free to completely ignore that one with this character if you like. Alright, I'm gonna end things with that. I'll definitely be back with more of these later on, if people find this kind of stuff at all interesting. In the meantime, I would appreciate all kinds of feedback, and if you found the video interesting, you can give it a thumbs up.